What's going on, guys? It's Kyle here, and today I wanted to make a quick video about a duplex I bought back in 2015. It was December 2015, so almost 2016. And this was a property I bought right down the street from the duplex I was living in and house hacking. If you don't know what house hacking is, go watch my last video. I did a video about house hacking and how you can get started in real estate really cheap. But this duplex is a really cool story because it was an off-market deal. It was not for sale, but I had noticed it had been sitting vacant for quite a while. So I started mailing letters to the owner like, hey, I want to buy your property and please sell it to me and give me a call. And he wouldn't respond, so I just kept bugging him, kept sending them out. I don't know how many letters I sent, probably 5 or 6, and he finally called me. His name was Dean. And he'd lived like an hour and a half away and said that he just got tired of managing it and that he would consider selling it. So this property was in dire need of some help. It needed a lot of rehab, pretty much needed everything. I'll show you some pictures here in a little bit. But I ended up buying that thing for about $40,000. I think it's $40,000 exactly. And the property would have been worth around $100,000 once it was completed. So I had a lot of room in there, but as you'll see, I had to put a lot of money into it. So bought it for $40,000, and I can't remember exactly, but I think I put in about $27,000 to $30,000 into it. And so let me show you some of the pictures and we'll go over some more of the numbers. Okay guys, so here we are. This is the duplex right here. This was the one that was down the street from me that I rehabbed slowly but surely, pretty much by myself. I had a little bit of electrical work done, and then I had some help on the shower tile. But here you can see it's an all brick duplex, really sturdy, great location. And it had a newer roof, thankfully, but all the windows need replaced. But first, before we get into the rehab, let's look at the settlement statement. And I apologize, this might be a little blurry, but I paid $40,000 and I paid this in cash. So I thankfully did not have to have a loan on this one. I had leveraged against some other properties to purchase it. So here we go. So we've got $40,000 cash. We had some settlement charges, but when you buy a property cash, you're gonna be able to get away with a lot less closing costs. So I walked away paying $40,889.98. So that's the amount that I had to come out of pocket. So page number 2, I don't think there's really much here that you need to see. Nope. So moving on, there we go, there it is again. And now let's start the fun part, walking through how bad this thing was. So this is the backyard. As you can see, it's got the 2 doors out the back. I didn't really do much on the exterior at all besides trim up some trees. Here we go. So this is one of the sides here, and I think all these pictures I'm going to show you is just one side of the duplex. I will do the other side at a later date, but man, this thing was bad. It had been sitting for a long time, and there had been water. I guess the previous owner who I bought it from had a tenant stop up the bathtub and let it run over, and it flooded the apartment and left it there for weeks, and the landlord, the owner, had no idea. So that's one point that I need to make. You need to constantly be checking in on your properties and making sure the tenants are treating them right. But here's the thing, the landlord was not getting along with the tenant, and if you're not getting along with your tenant, things are going to go wrong. So do everything you can to get along and just treat people right. So all the hardwood floors were buckling, all the paint was peeling off the walls. Look at that ceiling fan there, it's just drooping from the moisture that was in there. Old nasty tile, peeling up. The kitchen was pretty much, gone. The base sink was gone. Bathroom, trash. The tile was in horrible condition. The toilet was old. There was no sink. There's more hardwood floors falling apart. There's the basement, just trashed. And this whole place just smelled musty and moldy. I mean, it was bad. There's the paint's actually just coming off of the ceiling. It's like a paint and a texture mix. There it is again. So let's get into, well, I guess there's the basement. There's a crack, is leaking pretty good. Okay, I've started to rip some of the drywall out in the basement here, and pulling off the walls and the ceilings and starting to take the nails down. There's the bathroom, pull the tile off. And one thing I'll note here, so we had some mold that I had found in here. So I had to call in a remediation company, and we had to spray everything and gut out all the mold. It was a disaster. We had to replace a lot of the drywall, but everything was sprayed multiple times for like a mold killer. I don't know what it was called, but as you can see, intense mold, and this all just had to be ripped out and replaced. Bathtub, thankfully we saved the bathtub. It cleaned up nicely. Okay, now this, I go back and forth on if I did this the right or wrong way. You know, if I was in the position today to buy this duplex, I would have just paid to have all the drywall replaced. But I didn't have very much money back then. I had tapped all my cash out by paying cash for the property. It would be pretty difficult to get a bank loan on a property like that because it's in such bad shape. So I was pretty much out of cash, so I was doing everything I could myself. So I was actually going in there with this little scraper, and I scraped every inch of the walls that I could save. And I was peeling off all the paint and just really chipping away at everything I could. And it took forever. I just remember I would put in like, a podcast or something or an audio book, and I would just, grind away. So, I did a pretty good job scraping it all off. And then, see, got it off the walls and the ceiling. And it looks like I had pulled up the flooring at that time, taken down the light. And next what I did, I had never done this before, and it was all trial and error, but I'm like, well, I'm going to coat all the walls in mud, and then I'm going to do a texture. So first what I did is I got a 5-gallon bucket of drywall mud, and then I watered it down a little bit so it was soupier, and then I actually put a roller into the mud and then rolled it onto the walls. So once it was on the walls and the ceiling, I would take a large knife and just spread it out as well as I could. And I did that over the entire house. As you can see, I did it all over the ceiling, the walls, inside the window frames, everywhere. Took forever. It saved money, but in hindsight, I would never do it again just because it took so long. But I just didn't have the resources to do it any other way. I couldn't afford to hire it out. So this is called knockdown texture, and I might have a video on my YouTube channel somewhere showing how to do this, but it's more or less you load drywall compound or drywall mud into a hopper and hook it up to an air compressor. You spray it, it splatters it on the wall, and then you take this really big knife and you spread it over the walls. And you flatten it. It's called knockdown. So it turned out really well, and I was very happy with it. So this is in the basement. These are some of the floor joists, and everything was just dirty and nasty, and it had all been treated for mold. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and paint over all this and make it look better. So as you can see, there's a coat of paint on it, and I think I got even a video of me here. Hopefully it plays fine. One thing I have not been paying attention to, hopefully my face is not covering everything I'm talking about, but so there I am. I'm spraying all the floor joists, and I had to do multiple coats. I just bought paint that seals in everything, and then I ended up going over it with black at the end. So there's finished, not black, but the top coat. Now there's the finish. So this is the basement. This is like the laundry room area. As you can see, I painted the walls. I left the floors, just the concrete, and then I painted this black. So it really cleaned things up and made it look really nice. Now on the floors, it was not worth pulling up all the old subfloor, but I had a lot of spongy areas where it was really weak and you could almost fall through. So I ended up laying subfloor over the whole floor. Once again, this took forever. Would I do it again? I don't know, but I had no other option at that time. So walls are done, subfloor's going down. There's the actual real floor I was starting to lay. Click together vinyl plank, I mentioned that before. Now, here is a lesson learned. I hired someone off of Craigslist to do drywall work for me. He shows up with his girlfriend and another one of her friends, so 2 girls and a guy, and they had told me they knew what they were doing. I've hung drywall before, so I know how it's supposed to be done. I walked in there, I could hardly believe what I was seeing. Gaps from the ceiling to the wall, like I could fit my whole hand in. How I was supposed to mud this gap, I have no idea. I don't know what he was thinking. No clue. How am I supposed to cover that? Look at that hole. What in the world? They have blood all over the drywall. Man, I was young at the time and I had no clue what I was doing, but I knew that this was way off. And one thing I didn't consider is today I would require my contractors to have insurance. These guys were just, off the street and had no clue what they were doing. Here's some door trim. Now, if you look at this gap, that's clearly wrong. The drywall is supposed to go all the way underneath this trim. You're supposed to pull the trim off, go all the way to the end of the doorway, and then this trim would go over top. They laid the drywall over top of the trim at the bottom. I have no clue. Did they really think that this was going to fly? I don't know. Look at that. It's on top of the door trim. Ridiculous. So there's some more of the gaps. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. So anyways, that was some of the before and some of the, pictures of during. But now let me show you the after. So here is some after shots. There's before, actually. Okay, so these are before. These are comparing the before and the after. So there's before, boom, there's after. Everything's done new. I mean, it looks so much better, 100 times better. Before, after, new door, new windows, new trim, new floor, new walls, new paint. Kitchen, there's after. Oh yeah, look at that difference. So much better. So the one thing that I did have hired out was this tile work, and that tile work was not done very well at all. I was very upset with the contractor. I don't have close-up pictures, but there was a lot of imperfections, and I'm a perfectionist, so I was pretty upset about that. But new toilet, new tub surround, new mirror, whatever you call those things, new vanity, pretty much everything in the bathroom was new. Bedroom, carpet, laid carpet. I can't remember if I put padding or if it was the carpet with the padding underneath. I don't remember. New blinds, new light fixtures. There's after. There's after. There's the basement, before, and boom, it's done. Nice and clean, easy to maintain. I did have to hire this out. I think I paid like $1,800 to have the panel upgraded. There's an old Federal Pacific box, and those things are no good. So here you can see I had that crack fixed, injected with an epoxy, and it never leaked, and it has not leaked. I still own that place today, so that's been years ago. There's before, boom, after. So I think that's pretty much the last of my shots. Maybe not, a few more. Anyways, so that is it, guys. That place has been great. I got a great deal on it. Would I do it again? Probably not, just because it took so much time. But again, I paid $40,000 cash, and I believe I should have these numbers written down somewhere, but I think I put in around $27,000 into it of rehab. And so, I was all in, $67,000 to $70,000, and the thing has recently appraised for $104,000. So I have quite a bit of equity. I have like $30,000 of equity, if not more, in the thing. And I don't usually do this, but I'm actually in that building with all cash. I don't have any loans on it. I have so many real estate deals going on that I'm able to pull cash from one deal to another. So really I do have debt on it, but there's no like mortgage actually on that building. It's complicated. Another story for another time. But long story short, the thing appraised for $104,000, and I have roughly $70,000 in it. So have some nice equity, and each one, this one rents for $715, and this one's renting for $725. And I will do another video on that unit at some point. So stay tuned for that. But thanks for watching, guys, and I would just highly encourage you guys, if you're not in real estate, reach out to someone like myself, or try to find a local like REI, real estate investing club in your area. Get started, because some of these deals will change your life. So I am actually getting ready to sell this property, and I'll make another video about that at some point, but this deal is going to turn out great. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a great one.